Welcome back to another video. My name is Abby, and today we are talking about how to use the law of assumption for abundance, about money, about love, anything in your life. If you're new to this channel and you want more videos like this one, click that subscribe button, hit the bell. It's going to let you know when I release new videos. And if you really like this video, a great way to show that support and to help boost it is actually to click that like button. It takes a couple seconds, but I greatly appreciate every single time you do. So back to the video. How do we use the law of assumption to increase our abundance, whether it be about love or money or anything in our life right now where you want to have abundance? First, let's understand the law of assumption. It comes from Neville Goddard. And basically the law says that whatever you assume to be true is true, because you're giving that assumption, that belief. A belief is just an idea you thought over and over and over again, so much so where you actually, it is a limitation. It is the way that you see the world, and therefore you look out into your life for that to be true. Something called confirmation bias. Whatever you believe, you will actually live your life to find that in the world. You will live your life through perceptual filters and find that in your world. So it's not objectively true, but it is subjectively true. And that is what you give permission and consent. So this idea comes up and you're like, yes, you know what? You're going to have permission and consent to be true about my life. Now, you don't do that consciously as an adult. These things don't come to you and then you say, okay, I'm going to sign off on that. You got it. You are now in charge. You are now the parameter of what I am capable of and what is possible in my life. That is not how it works. What happens is between the last trimester of you and your biological mother and 7 years old, you were in something called Theta Brainwave. And what that means, it is the brainwave of the unconscious, the subconscious. So everything that happened in your life during that time, you took it immediately to be true. It went straight into your theta brainwave, which then got absorbed into your subconscious, and you took those experiences, you watched people interact, you saw how people treated you, and you thought that is how the world worked. You took the opinions and beliefs of everybody around you, and you absorbed that to be true. If you have not looked at those values, if you've not looked at those beliefs, they are still dictating you to this day. Obviously, a lot of other things have happened to you over the course of 7 years old and however old you are watching this video. So those also are influencing it. They could also be building off those original assumptions as you as a child, but it's important to understand where they come from. A lot of these assumptions could be subconscious, meaning if I asked you, do you think you're good enough? You'd say, yes, give me that amount of money, give me that relationship in my life. And you have no conscious awareness that you believe that you're not worthy. So if you're assuming that you're unworthy at a subconscious level, that is what you are deep down feeling to be true, you're going to look out into the world through that perception of unworthiness. You're going to find people and situations that are going to reflect that value back to you, proving, and I use that because the only proof you have is that you're blocking out any other situation. So it's going to prove to you that, yes, look, see, that person treats me like I'm not worthy. Look, see this amount of money that this is the only amount of money I can get. And you stay within that box. That box is your self-concept. It's how you see yourself. And you can start seeing how this all interplays. It's very important. So how is it that you go from that old set of assumptions into the new ones? Well, you first have to understand that they're two different states of being. And to help you understand this a little bit better, I'm going to bring some props into my video. Prepared to be dazzled. So for one, I have the key of a Ford 150. Yes, I was born in Texas. And the other key I have here is for a Corolla. So the reason I have these two different keys is to help you understand the two states of being. Now these cars, there's nothing wrong with either of these cars. They have their own different functions and they have their own purposes. Now if we're specifically looking through the purpose of hauling a big pile of lumber, well, if we looked at the Corolla to do that, that job would be much harder for it. It actually doesn't hold the capacity to do that. It would be really good at long distances. So even though there are different modalities for this, we would want state of being to be that of a Ford 150, to be a truck so we can easily haul that lumber. The same thing is happening when you have different self-concepts, different states of being. If abundance is represented by that lumber and you're in the Corolla state of being, then you actually can't handle that load, that abundance, because you don't have that capacity. So rather than thinking that you're not capable of it, all you got to do is switch keys, switch states of being. And the way you switch states of being is new thoughts and new feelings. A lot of people get to the new thoughts, they have affirmations, they think different things, they repeat them over and over and over. The problem is they never get to the feeling state. The reason that the feeling state is so important is because the mind, the subconscious mind, is a feeling mind. It goes on what it feels to be true, and then it objectifies it. It's a habit mind as well. So then it perpetuates that idea of who you are in the world and how you think you can be, and you perpetuate it. So as long as you just think and you really wish that you could hold a capacity to be abundance with this Ford, but you're still feeling and thinking with the capacity of the Corolla. You have to let go of the thoughts and feelings that are associated with the Corolla, and you have to move into the thoughts and feelings that are associated with the 150. So what that means is you can only be in one state at a time. You're thinking and feeling from this state, or you can be thinking and feeling from a different state. So if you're thinking and feeling from a state of lack, from a state of you can't, from a state that lumber doesn't fit in your vehicle and your self-concept is too small, and to give you another example, it could be $30,000. Well, you really want to make $100,000, but your self-concept, your list of assumptions can't actually contain that new belief. So you're limited here and you're thinking outside of your limitation, but you're not feeling outside that limitation. You don't feel that you're abundant enough. You don't feel that you are valuable to have $100,000 because you have an assumption that you're not valuable. So as you start to just trade out an assumption for another one, you're going to assume that you are valuable. You're going to assume that opportunities and situations come to you that's going to reflect you, that is capable and worthy of making $100,000. The same thing can happen about love. Who is it that you need to be? What lists of assumptions do you need to have of that person, that version of you, thinking from that version of you? What thoughts, what behaviors, what assumptions would that person be? Then you work backwards. You start inheriting and developing those assumptions now so that you can bridge that gap between that version of you that has those assumptions and the version now. And since you'll be inheriting and bringing in new assumptions, it's going to bring you new thoughts and new feelings because you're going to be acting in the world according to that you that has that bigger concept. And every day expanding because you'll have new experiences, which is going to give you a new emotion, which is going to cause you to act differently, which is going to cause you to do a new behavior, which is going to cause you then ultimately to have a new habit. And that list of new habits that is in alignment with that version of you that is abundant in love and with finances and ultimately even with emotional health, happy, joyous. When you're starting to be that version of you right now, not waiting for your outside to change, that is when you start to expand and change your life dramatically. It doesn't start by something outside of you changing. It starts by you trading out old assumptions that are actually containing those old ways of being, those old circumstances, trading them out for the new states of being, for the new assumptions, and using the law of assumption to trade out right now, bring those feelings and those thoughts into your world right now and expand that self-concept. Use the morning right when you wake up to start really assuming and feeling those new states of being, feeling those new emotions. Use right before you go to bed to feel those things as well. The reason this is important is because you're in Theta Brainwave. That's the same brainwave you were when you were a child, when you started to really be programmed into your original program. So use the right before you go to bed and right when you wake up to start bringing in at a subconscious level these new assumptions. How you think and how you feel is what you will automatically see reflected in your life. What you assume to be true is how you will navigate your life and what you will look for to be true. The more you start to contradict what it is that you believe to be true that is limiting you from experiencing what you want, the more you will be able to move into that other state because you will have changed your assumption. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, hit subscribe. If you haven't done so already, hit the like button and I'll see you on the next one.